Everybody, I'm Andre Fernandez for the Miami Herald. We're back at Miami Dolphins High School Football Media Day. We're here with Palmetto coach Mike Manasco, looking at a new season this year for the Panthers. Obviously, no one has to tell you this district is always tough, but what are you looking for in this is season 2 for you as the head coach of the Panthers. What should Panther fans look forward to this season, coach?
You know, step 1 was, getting in there, laying the foundation. Step 2 is now teaching the kids how to win. Our district's ultra competitive. There's some good coaches in that district. Teaching those kids how to compete 4 quarters through that level. Really excited to see what they're going to do, just going back to contact Monday. The second thing is we got a great quality opponent in Belen for preseason. Very well coached. Really excited to see how we handle that. And then, every year there's going to be some sort of adversity, whether it's in a district game or not, just seeing how we can overcome that. But I'm excited to see how we compete against the Southridges, the Killians, the South Dades.
Well, coach, there's always that getting to know you phase where the kids have to get used to your style, the new coaching staff, that thing. Now that it's year 2, everybody knows each other kind of thing. There's a little more, do you notice the comfort level maybe has bred some confidence, some obvious confidence in your team where these guys maybe they're not hoping to get something done anymore, they know what they're capable of a little bit more, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is last year we started 14 freshmen and sophomores on varsity, so that experience level, confidence level, playing those games. And we didn't sacrifice anything for the program. We basically, we didn't go out there to try to win every single game just because. We cut kids, taught them what the program means, and we sat kids out, put them up in the stands because we're building for the long term. We're not building to bring a whole bunch of kids in and just win now. We're trying to build this program for the future.
How hard is that? Because sometimes it's very easy to fall in that trap. Kids these days, sometimes, generalizing, of course, there's some that, you see a lot of movement, jumping from one school to another. To build a nucleus where kids will stay there and be part of a program for 2-3 years, as a coach, how much more difficult does that become now?
At a public school, it's horrible. And it's adults in the community that are acting almost like agents, bringing these kids here and there, and it's tough because these kids trust these men coming up through the Pop Warner system, and the loyalty's kind of gone. I grew up in the same community these kids grew up in. I never thought about playing anywhere else but Palmetto, right. And the loyalty that I wanted to do, and seeing these kids now, it's like, well, we almost got to put a fence around our area just to keep other coaches from coming in and doing that. So it's tough, but we all play by the same rules, it seems like, but
Yeah. Well, talk about some of your kids, because the kids that are part of this program now, one of them that comes to mind is Malik Bell. I know he had a rough year last year because I know he got hurt, tore his ACL, but you have him back this year. He's healthy now. If you can talk a little bit about him, what he brings to your team.
He's the kind of player that changes the whole dynamic of the team. When he's on the team and in the game, we're a totally different team. The kids respond well to his leadership. I haven't had a kid ever come back from an injury as more determined than he has. He tore his ACL in week 5. It was real tough for him because he's such a competitive kid. But I think the time away has helped his mental game, which is just as important. But not just him. I mean, we've got guys all over the place. We got Hugh Lawson coming back as quarterback. We got our 3 best receivers back. We got our 2 best running backs back. We got our offensive line is all back. Defense is much faster this year, so we're excited. Kenneth Spiller, I brought him today. He's a young linebacker. You guys are going to hear his name for sure. And John Pierce is a kid that came over from LaSalle last year, and he's just brought a lot of leadership, maturity, and character to the program.
South Dade, Southridge, Killian, now Homestead's back, the old neighborhood rival. What's it going to take for Palmetto to break through this pack, find its way in, and maybe have a chance of earning a playoff spot?
We got to win some of those games. We have to win some of those games. Back Palmetto from ever until about maybe I'd say 6-7 years ago was always competing for those spots in the playoffs. So we're just trying to build it back up and exceed what the other expectations are. Because I can always look back and say, well, when I was at Palmetto, because I graduated from there, but that never works. It's a whole different, society, different group of kids. But man, I really think that we've got to circle some of those games, and those are some games we got to win. Last year we circled, one of our district games because Palmetto hadn't won one in 4 years, and we were lucky to get that. So it's just, I think it's more mental than anything else. Because those bigger, better teams, they come off the bus, and the kids mentally have to be focused, because sometimes games are won or lost just by getting off the bus. So,
is there any way to combat that? Because I know that you're not the only one that says that. Sometimes they face that situation where the intimidation factor is there from the beginning. I mean, is there anything as a coach that you can do to maybe pre-game to kind of get through those jitters, or it's just something you have to deal with?
I think it's something you do in January. I think it's something you do in the weight room and on the practice field and running sprints. I think it's just building a culture of competition and a culture of winning. So when they go out there, they don't have any fear. They just have nothing but respect for their opponent.
Well, thank you, Coach. We appreciate it. Always a pleasure.
Always
good luck
a pleasure.
this season.